What's up, guys? Hybrid Mongoose here, and welcome back to another episode of the Hybrid Mongoose podcast. And we're going to talk mainly about something that I have not finished. I've done a podcast about, and this is the first podcast you're watching. I talk about not just Pokemon Go, but Marvel or any other thing I'm interested about. I also want to get other Pokemon Go content creators on here as guests. That's probably going to be the next podcast I'm going to try to line up, is get a guest onto the show. And also, I did all the Loki episodes from the Marvel TV series, except for Loki episode number 6. So we are going to cover that today, which that is an amazing show. This is long overdue, so I'm sorry about getting out now. But after that, we are going to talk about the state of Pokemon Go. Another content creator has quit making Pokemon Go content. And so let's start with Loki first. And I'm sorry for leaving you guys hanging for so long. I know at this point, Marvel What If is already out. I already watched 2 episodes. I'm not going to do a podcast about those, but it's very interesting. I watched the 2 episodes that are out, and I actually did enjoy them. So Loki number 6, it was called For All Time Always. Basically, they found out that it was Kang the Conqueror. Is basically trying to stop himself from other multiverses, and him to protect his sacred timeline. So I'll go into further detail there. Episode starts with Loki and Sylvie walk up to the big gigantic castle. I guess it has a name. I forget the name. The MCU has basically combined many characters together. He's introduced as he who remains. But they also, like, all these other places are calling him Kang the Conqueror. I guess there's other multiverses, and he has different names. So he's just like he's just a bunch of people put together. So he who remains, I'm gonna just refer to him as that. Once Loki and Sylvie actually enter the actual castle building, they are confronted by Miss Minutes, who then offers them both what they seek. Sylvie to be happy with her family. They're saying, "Hey, we can change the timeline and make it so you're happy." And Loki, we can make it so you won the War of New York, that you're king of Asgard, and all this other stuff, and we can make it so you could be together, and blah 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 blah. They both rightfully turn him down there. Basically, we found out that Kang knows everything that's going to happen with this whole thing, and Jonathan Majors, who is the actor that played Kang. Amazing casting. Marvel's always been so good at casting. Ever since after Iron Man, their casting has always been pretty much spot on. So I know there's talks right now of doing another Fantastic Four, and a lot of people are like, "Oh, Fantastic Four." Fantastic Four can be amazing, and if they cast it right and kind of reboot it, it'll be amazing. And the way that they need to do that is they need to tie in the new Fantastic Four in an already established good movie to kind of introduce them again, and then come out with a movie. And I think then most people will be hyped for it. So for instance, the next Doctor Strange, if they actually introduce the Fantastic Four there, and they have a major role in that movie just to introduce them, and then the next movie that comes out is Fantastic Four, that'll be kind of proof of concept, basically, right? Introduce them without actually doing their whole origin story and all that other stuff, just to kind of go, hey, here are the characters, this is what they can do, and then now we release them. So back to Loki. They walked on the hallway, and the elevator opens, and Kang appears. While in the elevator, they just walk up. They're kind of flabbergasted that this guy's there. They're kind of like, who is this guy? And they walk up to him. They go into the elevator, and while in the elevator, Sylvie tries to kill Kang, and he moves too fast and realizes that she can't kill him. He's way too fast for that. Then it cuts to Renslayer is confronted by Mobius, and the truth is revealed. They start to fight each other. She reveals that they've been friends for thousands of years, eons, I think is what she says. And then she basically beats him up and then jumps through a portal. Then it goes back to Loki and Sylvie, and Kang is showing him pages of everything that they're going to do, like basically like a script, like here, this is what you're going to say right here, this is what you're going to do right here. And again, like I said, amazing casting. He did such a good job. I believed that character. That was such good acting. It was so good. I was just like, man, this is incredible. This is like, I like this villain. I like him. He's very arrogant. He's flamboyant. It's very theatrical. It's a different type of character. I really liked it. So, um, then he shows how he came into power with his like special temp pad, and he goes through how the whole story of he found the actual other multiverses using science, and then he met variants of himself. So this is actually super interesting right here. He discovered that there's other multiverses, and he also found out that his other variants of himself also could do the same thing and find other multiverses. And they started actually working together with like technology and sharing information and all this other stuff. Eventually the other variants started to try to actually take over other universes, and it started the actual multiverse war. And from the tears in space and all that other stuff, I guess Alioth was created from the multiverse war. And that's who is protecting, obviously, the castle. There's a name for it. I'm forgetting it right now off the top of my head. But then he created the TBA to prevent dangerous versions of himself from coming to power. So he is essentially scared of himself and other versions of himself that are more dangerous. So he had this sacred timeline, which was the timeline to keep, I guess, peace and not have everything blow up. Again, it definitely seems more noble of a cause, even though it's wrong in a lot of ways. Definitely seems more noble of a cause than like somebody like Thanos, who's just basically doing genocide. Which on Thanos real quick, on the second episode of What If you haven't seen it, you have to watch it. They crack a lot of jokes in a different multiverse of Thanos. He actually joins the Ravengers, which is what Star-Lord joined. And sorry for spoiler alert if you haven't seen it. I'm so sorry, but I have to mention it. It was so funny. They keep mentioning the fact that they're like, Thanos would bring up his theory of what he wanted to do, and they were like, yeah, that's just genocide. And he's like, yeah, but it's more efficient, and it's just like they keep that joke running. I thought it was hilarious. Anyway, so I was watching Emergency Awesome, which is a really good channel that kind of covers all this stuff and just reveals all the Easter eggs and stuff. And he explained Kang as basically a demented, like Willy Wonka, like trying to find somebody noble enough to take over the TBA. But at this point, he's like a million years old. He's millions of years old. When he says he's old, he's like millions of years old. And he doesn't care if they kill him or take over. He just wants to be done with what he's doing. He's been doing it for a million years. So Loki and Sylvie fight because Loki doesn't want Sylvie to kill him. She is just like, he has to die. And rightfully so. She has a grudge against him. Obviously, because she was taken away from her parents and taken away at a very super young age, which is completely terrible. So they begin to fight. Loki's holding back because he doesn't want to actually hurt her, and Sylvie's really not. So she's just like kicking his butt. He teleports into the path of her blade to stop her, and she actually pulls back and doesn't kill him. So that was like super risky right there already. He then comes up with this confession saying that I know how you feel. He basically says he loves her, They basically confesses that he loves her, and then they actually kiss. And that was touching. You still want to root for them to be together for some reason. Like even now, I'm like, they should be together. So, but it's just So she ends up opening up a portal, and after she kisses him, she ends up opening a portal and then kicking him through back to the TBA through a portal. She ends up killing Kang, and while Kang is dying, he's like, "I'll see you soon." And then you see the timeline fracture. Loki goes to Mobius, and Mobius has no idea who he is. This is back at the TBA. And Loki sees a huge, gigantic statue of Kang at the TBA. And basically, I think what ended up happening was he was at the actual TBA, from the same timeline, but the second Sylvie actually killed Kang, it actually changed that world. So the TVA changed. So when he actually saw Mobius, he didn't know who he was, and he's just like, "Who is this guy?" Basically, and that's incredible already because the second season is going to be great. So one of the really key things about Loki and this entire show is that you cannot guess what's going to happen. I love that about the show. You cannot tell what is going to happen, and it's incredible. It's incredible. I mean, really, really, really good writing. Um, it basically ends right there on a cliffhanger. You don't know what's going to happen next. Not like you knew what was going to happen all along anyway. But yeah, that was insane. The show entirely was crazy. I loved the whole thing. I thought it was amazing. I would not. I mean, it's probably my favorite Marvel TV show right now in its completion. I mean, it didn't have an amazing ending. It was still really good. You got a lot of answers, but the show is just covered in mystery. There's always something different happening. There's always something crazy happening, and you're always like you're always guessing, and I'm mostly guessing wrong. I don't know about you guys, but whenever I watch the show, I can't tell what's going to happen, and that's great. Because a lot of times you can kind of tell where a story is going to go, and you can kind of predict, like, oh, I bet this is going to happen. This show is just so out there that I cannot predict anything, and I love it. So that's basically my 2 cents about the Loki episode 6. I absolutely love the show. Sorry this is so long overdue, but amazing show. Amazing casting on Kang the Conqueror. I can't wait to see what they're going to do with that character in the future. It's going to be amazing. And now on to the different multiverses. Now I'm going to talk about What If for a second. It's in the next show. It's an animated show. The first episode was Captain Carter, which is Captain America's like wife. Basically becomes Captain America instead. Like, what if that happened? And I think the show's actually really cool. I actually like the second episode a little bit more. Like, just because of the comedy was so good. It was basically like, what if the Black Panther was picked up other than Peter Quill for Star-Lord? And that's such an interesting premise. I really do like those like little one-offs. It kind of makes me feel like it's almost like a little like a Twilight Zone-ish type of feel to it. It's like this is a whole dystopian different world, a different multiverse that you're not going to see, and it's really cool. They could do so much. I mean, so much with this in the MCU, in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. They could do so much. They could have literally a multiverse war. They could have all kinds of different things. So like this opens up the door a lot for a lot of different things. So I'm excited for the future of the MCU. I think it's going to be great, and What If is actually proving to be really good. I know it's not for everybody, but I'm enjoying it so far. Now, on to the state of Pokemon Go. Now, a lot of people got so angry about the distance. We're getting closer and closer to September 1st. I know a lot of people got picked for the task force, right, that they were talking about. Some people I agree with. Some of the picks I totally agree with, like Zoe Two Dots. Of course, she was the person that drafted the letter for the Heroes Niantic, movement. She organized a lot of that. It was honestly, without her, I don't know if it would have happened. So she was a big force in that, and she deserves. If anybody deserves it, it's her first and foremost. She deserves to be on the actual, on the task force talking to Niantic. Also, you have and then again, there were some people that I was surprised that they picked. There's some people I'm not gonna like call out any names, but I'm just like, okay, like hopefully these people fight, and I just don't want yes people. You know what I'm saying? Like, I didn't want somebody just to bend over and be like, yeah, Niantic, you're great. Yeah, do whatever you say. It's like, no, we have to fight for the change that we want, And I feel like a lot of people, they just uninstalled the game. That was the first reaction to a lot of this, is a lot of people uninstalled the game immediately and just was like, I'm done. which sucks because you know what, I'm gonna get kind of psychological and philosophical on you guys. Okay, I'm gonna explain my FOMO videos out there. If you need a pep talk on whether I might even make a revised one because or talk about it more. But I think the reason why, and this just hands goes into FOMO as well. It's not just that reason you feel cheated, that reason you feel like you got ripped off, and the reason that you feel like you're owed something is because you spent money. Now, when we spend money on different things, we expect something. In the real world, when you pay for something, you expect a good or service to come back to you, a product. You pay someone to wash your car, you expect your car to be washed, right? Et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Now this goes right into even more about how this is Niantic is basically gambling. And I know that, and I'm okay with that. I'm okay with the odds. I'm okay with playing the free to play odds. And I've actually been having more luck being free to play than I was even spending money, which is hilarious. It's like, okay, sure. So, anyway, the reason why you spend money, you expect something back, right? So if you spend Pokecoins and you buy you do a million remote raids, you expect to get that shiny. And then when you don't get that shiny, that's when you feel ripped off. You feel, man, I spent $30 and I didn't get a shiny. I spent $40, I didn't get a shiny. I spent $100 and I still didn't get a shiny. And I say, to kill that FOMO and to just be okay with your chances is to play for free. Honestly, let it go. Let that feeling go. Take gems, get your free coins, do regular raids that you have to actually walk up to, do your free raids per day, get your 1 or 2 chances per day to do a raid, and that's it. Be okay with it. You gave it your one shot, you didn't get it, and that's fine. I've been so lucky. I have done so in the course of this entire you know, in the course of this entire event, I actually, went through and I've only done maybe 10 Kangaskhan raids. On my stream for EV Day number 2, I got a Kangaskhan in 10 raids. During my vlog for EV Day Community Day 1, which that video actually is really good. I highly recommend you watch it. I can't wait to do another vlog, to be honest with you. So that's down the pipeline as well. But it's I got a shiny Palkia. I only did 2 of those. 2. So what I'm saying is I have a theory with Pokemon Go, and you probably agree with it. Some days your luck is just cannot be stopped. You have this crazy luck in Pokemon Go. You're catching everything. You're getting shiny back to back. You're raiding. You're doing nuts. I had a day, one of my favorite moments in Pokemon Go ever was when shiny Zapdos came out, and I got 4 shiny Zapdos back to back. It's also one of my favorite videos I ever created because there was a crowd around me and they could not believe I got 4 shinies in a row. It was incredible and a great moment. Anybody who was there, witnessed it. It was so awesome. Such a good feeling. And everyone just like, what the heck? This guy's too lucky. And those days happen. So my theory is sometimes you either have the luck or you don't. End of story. Throwing money at it is not going to change that. You're either lucky that day or you're not lucky that day. And unfortunately with Niantic, nothing is guaranteed. The shinies are not guaranteed. And you should treat it as such. Give it your chance. Give it a chance. Try for free. And then stop. That's my advice. Obviously, you can do what you want with your money. And also, you can play any way you want. I don't care how you play. If you still want to spend money and support Niantic and you don't care about what we're trying to get done, that's also okay. I don't care if you want to spend money. That's clearly up to you. So recently I just saw that Pokegirl7 quit Pokemon Go. I watched the video. She actually talked about a lot of different things. One of the things was talking about how Niantic, basically is selling your data, blah blah blah, and there's lots of things that she was talking about that I already knew. And if you, I kind of thought everyone kind of knew this, that like Google sells your data, like that's known. And Niantic is basically Google. Like if you didn't know, John Hankey was the CEO of, or he did work on Google Earth and a lot of the mapping stuff for Google. And then they gave him money to fund Niantic. So Niantic is basically Google, just with a mask on. Whoops. But yeah, no, I swear to you, Niantic is Google. Like it is. Like I know you think I'm crazy, but it look it up. It is. It's true. So she didn't want to promote she didn't want to promote something that's stealing your data, but I would argue to that they have been stealing your data before Pokemon Go even existed. It's out there. And from an IT standpoint, like I've been working in IT. This is my 11th year. In February of 2022, it'll be 11 years that I worked in IT. So I'm actually somewhat of an expert in terms of this type of stuff and computers and servers and technology in general. Not all technology, but you get what I'm saying. I've been doing this for a long time. So when I'm telling you, they've been stealing your data for the longest time ever. And what's funny, and I'm not trying to get into conspiracy theories at all, but the fact that people think that the vaccine has a tracker in it is hilarious. Why would okay, first of all, I'm sorry, but you're not that important. They don't need to track you. That's number one, because they already are. And you know how I know they already are? Because you have one of these. You have one of these in your pocket. And your GPS is on all the time. They're already tracking you with this. It's already powered with a battery. You plug in every single day. It's your alarm clock. It's your cell phone literally is what they're tracking. Google already tracks you. Do you think they need to make nano tracker spy stuff that is powered off of body heat and injected into your arm like a spy tracker for you? No. Like you're not that important. I'm sorry. No one cares what you do or don't do or say or what you think. None of that. Your opinions do not matter. They're tracking you right now with this. So it's so stupid that people think that, like, honestly, if you believe that's true, fine, but I'm telling you, they don't need to do that. Common sense dictates they look at this. This is the tracker. Okay, sorry. They're already doing it. They were doing it before Pokemon Go. Now they have that footfall data that of you walking actually around. So Google now has that information, and that information is important for advertising to different businesses. And if they can actually prove, like the sponsored Pokestops, if they can prove it, that this will give you. We've seen by on data records that because we have a gym here, you will get 40% more foot traffic into your building. They probably have that data, right? And they're selling that information that's how they get these sponsored Pokestops and blah 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 and all this other stuff. And again, who is surprised? I'm sorry if you're waking up now and realizing that that's what they're doing, but they have been doing it since Android phones, Apple phones, since they existed and you were able to install an app. They have been tracking you. Google has been doing it from the beginning. So not to like get all off the deep end, but that was one of the reasons why Pokegirl 7 said she wasn't going to do it, but they have been doing it forever. No matter what, like I feel like, Google's not the most perfect company in the world. Don't get me wrong. I like Android. I like Gmail. That's what I use. But I'll put it this way. When I was going to school for IT, one of my teachers said it like this, because we were talking about that same exact subject about stealing data and blah, blah, blah. And my teacher, who was seriously, he had like 20 Microsoft certifications, probably 15 Cisco certifications, and taught the highest level of IT, for multiple different degrees. Like this guy was a wizard in terms of IT. And he literally said it like this, and it's so true. What is Google going to do with that information? Like, maliciously, what are they going to do with it? Show me something that I might actually want to buy? Like, think about it. What are they going to do with that information? It's all about money. It's going to be targeted ads. It's going to show you stuff based off your interests. It's going to be stuff that potentially you may actually want to buy. Like, that's about all they're going to do. I mean, what else do you have to hide unless you're doing something actually malicious or illegal on the internet, which is not recommended at all. Sorry, this podcast is going off the rails now, but it's only because a lot of people don't understand things, and it's Google's been selling your data from the beginning, and this should not surprise anyone. This is how they make money. They do not charge you for Gmail. They don't barely charge you for much, right? They have, like, Nest cameras and all this other stuff, but like, they charge you for those products. But I'm talking about like Gmail, Google Docs, Google Photos, all this other stuff. They don't charge you for those things. So you're paying for it with your data. Like, they're selling your data to advertisers and things like that. Um, and then PokeGirl7 said something about her health, which I think is probably the main reason why she probably should stop. I'm not going to speak for her or anything, but like, she talked about having some health problems. Check out her video yourself. I'm not going to get into it, but she had some legitimate concerns. Honestly, I could see why she would want to stop, making this type of content, because the Pokemon Go content where you're moving around all day, you're walking around all day, all this other stuff, it can be very dangerous for someone with her health thing. So yeah, and then I've seen a couple other people saying they're going to uninstall the game, smaller creators, and then also now Reversal left. I am sticking to it. I think a lot of people jump the gun personally. With everything, they're like, uninstall the game. I'm so angry. Niantic's not going to do anything, and they might not. That's true. But let's try to give them a chance. They did say September 1st, which is, I mean, honestly, long overdue. But maybe it'll take their time to actually get their task force together and blah blah blah. So whatever. But I've been having more fun playing free than I have in the past multiple months, probably 4 months. I've been having more fun now than I've had in 4 months of playing the game, because I'm like, you know what? I'm playing for free. I'm playing for free. Guess what? Anybody that's on my friends list now, I'm doing a lot better opening up gifts, aren't I? Yeah. Because I'm free to play, baby. Free to play. And I'm having, like I said, I had so much fun in my EV Community Day vlog. That video alone proves that you do not have to spend money in the game to have fun. You can have fun just hanging out with your friends. What happened to the days where we would just explore and hang out with our friends? That's the important part of the game. Niantic is a business. They're always going to try to take your money, but you don't have to give them it. You can use your free raid passes and get your legendaries. You can use your free raid passes and get your shinies. Yes, maybe you'll miss it because you didn't spend enough money and you didn't have the luck that day, whatever it may be. But it still is possible to get it for free and not fall to that FOMO problem and that FOMO curse. And just, honestly, when you give them money and it fails, and you get mad and then you throw more money at it, you're literally playing right into what Niantic wants you to do. And it's honestly, anybody can play how they want, but sometimes it took a lot for me to realize that's what was going on, for myself. So yeah, anyway, guys, that's basically it. Sorry for the long overdue Loki episode. State of Pokemon Go it's still in a bad spot. There's a lot of content creators are still talking about, Trainer Tips did a video talking about how he's barely been playing and things like that. And unfortunately, Pokemon Go might have actually hit its kind of like wall. This is the beginning of the end of the game. I don't know. It all depends on what the company does now, right? If they make some really stupid mistakes and make really stupid changes coming up here, it could spell the end for the game. But again, we'll have to see what happens. So far, they've been getting free promotion from all these Pokemon Go content creators, myself included, and I don't think they really appreciate all that free advertisement that they have been getting. So, anyway, guys, that is going to do it for the podcast. Remember to like, subscribe, join the Mongoose gang today, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Later.